What's up, everybody? It's Michaela B again with this tea with me. Hey, so I just made a video, but somebody called me during the middle of the video and it disappeared. So we'll just jump back into it. This video is a concoction of questions. Someone asked me to make videos longer. I don't have that long of an attention span, so I think like 5 to 7 minutes, like that's a long time. If you can sit still for 15 minutes, shoot me an inbox because I got a more important video for you to watch. So anywho, I'll start with a question by Lucas.Devalev. I don't know how to pronounce that name. It says, was I really blindsided? Yes. I'm not one of those people that's going to act like I wasn't. Coming out of the game, when I first got voted off, I was like, I wasn't blindsided. I knew. No, I didn't know. I knew that if a Gen Xer didn't go home, the only other vote that would make sense was me. But I thought there was like virtually no chance that they would vote for me because I didn't see how it made sense. Like, it didn't make sense in my mind, right? So did I know there was a possibility? Yes. Did I think there was any probability? Absolutely not. So 100% they blindsided me. Good job, y'all. Griffin Elias asks, what do I think was my downfall in the game? Honestly, I think at the beginning, I was a person that showed all my cards. I was being regular Michaela in the game. Like, if I think you're annoying, you can tell by my face that I think you're annoying. Or if I don't want to talk to you, I'm not talking to you. Or if I don't trust you, you know I don't trust you. Like, I'm very transparent, and sometimes you have to hide things, right? But what I really think got me was, as days went on, the loneliness factor out there was so heavy. And Jay is a person that prior to the swap, I realized that I should not be trusting Jay. Even in my notes from before the game, I put, don't trust this dude. I called him an Ozzy wannabe. I was like, he seems charming, but don't trust him. Because I know that character, right? And it just so happened that Jay was the one person on that island who had a background that was even remotely similar to mine. So even though I knew intellectually not to trust Jay, when you get 2 weeks into that game and you're surrounded by all these different kind of people and all your conversations are halfway fake, and it's just hard to make a genuine, real connection because there's no one just like you. You draw to anything. And Jay was that person where even though he was showing me lots of signs that, look, I don't need to be trusting him, I just wanted to. And I made myself a sitting duck, and that's what ended up getting me voted off. So Survivor _ asks, what is it like to find out you're going to play like back to back with, basically with very short time between filmings, like a week and a half or so? It's stressful because you gotta think about if you had an opportunity of a lifetime that required you to leave your family, your friends, your phone, everything you own, and just drop it and go, right? And you're gonna drop it and go for 2 months in a week. Go. How stressful is that? Like, do you have an apartment? Do you pay rent? Who's gonna pay your rent while you're gone? Do you have a car note? Is your car gonna sit there, like sit in one spot for 2 months? What if you don't have a garage? All these things are going through your mind. Like, how am I gonna handle the basic stuff? And then when you're somebody like me, like I work on commission. So what does that look like financially? So it's a lot of stuff going through your mind, but you're not necessarily in a position to do anything about it. So it's kind of, that part of it is very stressful. Whatever, but you find a way if you want to do it. Let's see. Also, you can't tell anybody where you're going. So that's hard. Like, you've been gone and you come back and you see your friends and your family for a couple days, and then you're about to disappear again, but you can't tell them why. Or you can, unless you're like super stick to the rules like I am, in which case you freak out if you don't stick to the rules. So whatever. Daryl Flinch from YouTube asks, was I aware that my challenge performance made me a threat? Again, No clue. I was not thinking like that. Every time a challenge came, my only idea was, let's avoid tribal council, or let's win some food, and let's do it as a team. It wasn't about what I look like. It was like, we trying to get a W at all costs. And that's what I was going for, because that's kind of how I live my life. I want that W. I want to get it done. So in the same sense that in real life, I don't go around, trying to minimize myself so that average people feel comfortable. In that game, I wasn't trying to manage perception as far as challenges are concerned. And, maybe I should have been. Who knows? Where did we go during the cyclone? The first cyclone, clearly we were outside getting pounded, and that was horrible. The second cyclone, the category rose a little too fast, and it was just, everything was already demolished. It would have been a really bad thing to leave us outside. So like y'all saw, we got evacuated. They basically sent us to some type of resort. However, we didn't get any resort amenities. Like, they took all the carpet, all the furniture out of the room. They packed each tribe into one room, like a hotel room, essentially. And there was no furniture in the whole room. It was tile floor, and they provided like burlap sacks. And everybody got a scoop of rice and an apple, which the apple, everybody's like stoked about the apple. But you got a scoop of rice, and it was a kind of big scoop, so we were stoked about the rice. But a scoop of rice and an apple, and there was a toilet in there, but no toilet paper, I don't think. Yeah, so that was our first time seeing a toilet in a little bit, So, but it was weird, because it was all off camera, so you were not really allowed to talk about much. So that was actually a very weird experience. Josiah Van asked me about the casting process and wanted to know if I'm skipping his question. Yes, I'm skipping your question. I'm pretty sure I'm not allowed to talk about that. Just go through it. If you get picked, do it, and you'll know. If you don't get picked, you don't need to know. See? Someone asked, did I get annoyed by Jeff bashing on millennials? I wouldn't say I get annoyed. I am like, look, if you have a valid point, you have a valid point. Just because you're talking about my age group don't mean you're talking about me. However, what I did get annoyed with sometime with Jeff, the comments he makes while I'm trying to focus during a challenge, we ran into each other a couple times on a funny note. I wish they would release that footage, because I think it would be hilarious. Like, I remember the challenge where I had the blindfold and Jay was giving me directions and I was making a puzzle. Jeff is walking by talking, Michaela's doing this and so-and-so's doing this. And I was like, Jeff, get away from me. Like, your voice is drowning out Jay's voice. And I kind of went ham on Jeff blindfolded, and it was funny to think about, because I like Jeff. But you need to get out the way sometimes, you know what I'm saying? So that was pretty funny. And let me see. Stephen Lauren asks, what's an important thing that happened that didn't get showed? I mean, as far as my story is concerned, it's not that many important things that happened that didn't get shown, because I got voted out when I got voted out. So nothing really impacted much. If anything, like the fact that I was deeply on the bottom on the first day. But I don't think that's super important. I just would have liked to know how that happened. My relationship with Hannah too, that didn't really get shown. Me and Hannah were getting really close on Ikabula, so that's part of why she was left out of that boat. This video is 9 minutes. I kind of want to stop it and I'll just make another one. All right, that's your tea with Michaela B. The next video I'm kind of excited about because the questions are rather interesting to me. All right, so that's all, y'all.